Time your shot!
This tool is used to change the color channel data on splat maps to other channels. It is used mostly for converting old maps with custom layers to the layer replacement system with in-game materials. Before you start using, it is vital that you back up your terrains. This tool does not have fail-safes that may sometimes remove layer information if used incorrectly. To back up your terrains, select the terrain in your scene. Click the terrain data field. This will take you to the terrain data file in your project. Select your terrain data in the project view, then hit Ctrl and D to duplicate the terrain data. To open the tool, go to Holdfast SDK tools at the top. Hover over Utility, then click Terrain Texture Remapper. Before replacing the textures of my map, I'm first going to take a screenshot of my current layers in this tool. Do this to remember what type of texture was on that layer, as you'll want to ensure that your grass will be grass and your dirt will be dirt when you update the layers. Once you're ready to move on, click on the Update Terrain Layers button. This will convert your terrain to have all extra layers necessary for conversion. If you were using a custom terrain shader beforehand, such as Microsplat, the terrain may have not changed. To fix this, select your terrain in the inspector, remove the Microsplat terrain component, then tick the Use Default In-Game Microsplat box in the Holdfast map terrain. Next, go to the terrain settings. Click the nipple button next to the material, search Terrain-Standard, then select that material. Now to check what textures we want on our terrain, it is best to use the image gallery linked in the description for this. It will show us what the textures will look like in game. As such, we can replace the textures where necessary. In this case, I will start by making sure that my cobblestone path will be a cobblestone path with the in-game textures. Scroll through until I find the cobblestone path and what the layer is called. It is simply called cobblestone. In the paint texture mode, I can see the cobblestone layer. If I open the layer, then use Ctrl and click on the image, the name of the texture will show up. In this case, pebbles_029 is the texture name. Heading back to the remapper tool, I can see that pebbles_029 texture is on layer 24, so I type in 24 into the first box at the bottom. Next, I need to find out what layer my old cobblestone path is on. I can use my screenshotted image for this. In my case, it is on layer 3, so I type 3 into the second box. Once that's done, click the Swap Alpha Layer Data button. If you notice that some parts of your terrain seem dark, this may mean that there's missing data here. You will need to repaint over this. Or you may have swapped alpha data that exists on the same splat map image. More on this later in the video. This could even be errors from before the painting process. Either way, it's important that you take frequent backups. If you do make mistakes during your swapping process and you have big black splotches on your terrain, delete the broken terrain data in the project view. Then go back to where you saved your backup terrain data and duplicate that backup again. Select your terrain object, then drag the newly duplicated data into the terrain data field in the inspector. Then click the Assign button in the warning above. Proceed to replace as many textures as necessary. Make frequent duplicates of your terrain so you do not lose progress when replacing. Here's the rest of my replacement process. At this point here, I will be replacing layers that exist in the same splat map image. When you open your terrain data in the project view, you will notice that you have splat alpha images with numbers. Each image here represents a painted texture layer. A single splat map can hold 4 layers of splat map data. Red, green, blue and alpha channels are used 1 per terrain layer channel. In my case, I want to replace texture 5 and 7, however these layers both exist on the image splat alpha 1. The red channel is index 5, the blue channel being index 7. When using the tool, it is important that we do not replace channels in the same image or both layers will lose their color data. To avoid this issue, we simply find another empty layer in another splat alpha image and replace them one by one. My 5th channel is currently empty, so I do not need to move this data. However, I want to move data from 7 to 5. In my case, the red channel in the 3rd image is empty, so I will use this channel to swap the data out. This channel would be index 9. I head back to my remapper tool, then I'll input 7 and 9. And now I can safely move from channel 9 to 5 without any splat map data being wiped. Once all of our changes are done, we can build like normal and upload to the workshop.